up across the racetrack. Right away, Denny Hamlin makes the move to the high side.
And right away in the back of the pack, Stephen Light has a problem getting going on the bottom of the track. Might have missed a gear, blew an engine or something, but guys, this is the first time they're going to get around this racetrack at night under night conditions.
It did not go into third on that start.
Now, that could cause him a problem later. That thing not going in gear, it could have over-revved the engine on the start.
Oh, you know he overdrove the motor, Andy. Stick that thing in third gear and didn't get going hard on the motor. But right now, first time these drivers have been on the track again at nighttime. All the practice has been during the day.
Almost 3 wide a moment ago in the corner for second spot. Now they go back single file, Andy. And here's Biffle looking for a move in behind the 12 car, Brian Newman.
Now, you see these guys just kind of line up on the straightaway for that draft. They're trying to use that air just to get down the straightaway. But Denny Hamlin, man, he got out big time on these guys.
You see the guys working the top side of the track already. There's a lot of grip on the top side of the track, way high up there. The 88 car, Brad Keselowski on that last run. But there's a lot of grip up there. They need to get up there and use this racetrack because it's so slick right now. Until this gets a little darker, a little cooler, these cars are going to change a lot.
You see some sparks flying out of the 5 car there going in the corner. Cars are on low air pressure, so they travel just a little bit more until they build these tires up. They'll actually bang the racetrack a little bit with the frame of the car.
Very wide racetrack. They were 4 wide. They were 3 wide. Lots of room to race here, Rusty.
There's a lot of room to race, and they're going to use up all they can here in turn 1. They can get really wide, and especially off of turn 4. These guys have got the optimum grip when these tires are fresh and new, so when they're like that, they're going for it, getting everything they can.
Problems off of turn 2, car sideways. The 14 car of Kyle Krisiloff gets down right in front of traffic. One of the impressive rookies in this year's crop, Krisiloff, who had that great top 5 finish at Talladega early in the year, and he has had some contact with the wall.
He's got some real damage there on the right front. He's got that right front wheel aimed the wrong way. So he's hit the wall pretty hard with that end of the car.
Like he hit left rear, left side, Brian.
These guys have to go behind the wall and work on this car.
And that's the toughest thing in the world to take to early in the race. The first couple laps, you're already in the wall. Guys have been out here braving this heat all week long. And only 3 laps in the race, you're in the wall already. And that's a hard hit, guys. Right rear quarter panel, right front. He's not going to be able to fix that and get that out soon. Let's take a look at this replay, guys, and see what happened.
He's already sideways and just got trying to chase the car up and ran out of room, got in the wall.
And again, thank God for that soft wall, guys. That really takes a lot of the impact away from the driver when they can hit that part of the wall.
This was lap 2 over in turn 2. You saw Bobby East coming by. Now here's the start of the race. Now you'll see the pole center, Denny Hamlin, just turn hard right up in front of Kasey Kahne. Now watch from the onboard camera of the 7 car of Mike Wallace, and the 90 car, remember, couldn't get it in gear.
Now at this point, Stephen Light's in second gear, trying to get it in third, can't get going. Mike Wallace does a good job really not running over him and not tearing the front up of Mike's car. He could have really hurt his own car on that one.
Under caution for the first time tonight at California Speedway, lap 2, turn 2, the 14 car of Kyle Krisiloff in the wall. Look behind the 21 car. You see the 9 car making a move. That is Kasey Kahne, who swept both events here last fall. Won the NASCAR Busch Series and the NASCAR Nextel Cup event. It's been about the sweeps here because he won them last fall and Kenseth won them this past spring. But the 9 car had a close call just a moment ago with the outside concrete.
Casey's one of the guys that always runs the top lane. Let's take a look at his replay. See how close he got to it. Oh, turn 2, that's a big hit, guys. Really against it. Looks like he's got that right front fender bent in that car. That next pit stop, they'll have to get that out, so he's got good downforce on it. Let's take a look at this again.
He likes running that high line, but I don't think he wants to run quite this high. How about it, Brad?
Yeah, Andy, I talked to Mike Shiplett, Casey's crew chief, and I was talking about being able to adjust your race cars throughout the evening. All the drivers I talked to and crew chiefs today, everyone said we're going to mess with air pressures. We're going to leave a lot of adjustability in our race car. But as I talked to Mike, he said Kasey, like the car after the last practice, they're not going to touch it, and they're going to figure it out as the race goes on. Now, I think they struggled a little bit, but they're starting to move towards the front. They're starting to figure it out. Let's go to Jamie.
Well, Brad, I actually talked to the team after that practice, and they said, Kasey obviously, like you said, likes a loose race car, but they went out in that first practice and they scraped the wall with that right rear. So So that was an indicator. Obviously, the car was too tight. Or too loose, I should say. So they went back and they tightened it up. So now that car is actually coming around and getting a little too loose. But Casey came over the radio and said he got pushed into the wall. So we'll see if that will affect him later on in the race.
He made a little adjustment on that car. He knocked that right front fender in. Maybe that'll tighten it up.
Not the kind of adjustments you want to make as a driver, but whatever works, huh, Rusty?
Whatever he says, too. I didn't see him get pushed into that wall either, but he runs so high. But the good part is when he did hit the wall, it was a lot less than what I really thought it was the first time. So, you know, that one inboard shot we had, Andy, that was a good-looking shot of that car. And he just kind of scraped along that soft wall, so doesn't look like it screwed up the toe out or nothing.
I think I'm okay, guys.
Back at California Speedway, hard crash in the corner of the 88 car. Brad Keselowski, heavy impact into the wall. Couple of cars involved. The one car of J.J. Yaley is involved. His Chevrolet has sustained some damage, but at over 185 miles an hour, 3 cars coming together. Eric McClure also sustaining damage in the 0 car. Bringing out caution for the second time tonight. And the good news is Brad Keselowski has put the window net down, and the safety crews are there to speak with him.
It's good to see Brad moving around in the car because this car got hard impact up in the air, up on top of the wall for a little while. These cars made, here we got another car involved.
The 42 car of A.J. Allmendinger, the 4th car involved.
The last little shot we had, the 42 car of A.J. Allmendinger and the 88 car of Brad Keselowski were together. Pretty close getting into the corner.
This all started way back in turn 4. These guys battling in the pack for position. The 1 is Yaley, the 88 Keselowski, the 42 of Allmendinger.
88 car Keselowski, it's a big run off of turn 4. It's a big drag race down into turn 1. 3 wide, 4 wide, and that's not what you want to do. And he gets tagged in the right rear quarter panel. Allmendinger does, and Keselowski's like, where did this come from? I didn't even see that one coming. That was just one freak accident, and the 1 car got in the back of that, and that's what started the whole thing.
Yeah, Brad Keselowski really got blindsided. He didn't see this coming at all. You see this 42 car gets sideways, gets into the right rear quarter panel, and then this 88 car just slams the wall, went up in the air.
Guys, I don't know if I've seen a harder wreck before going into turn 1 of my life. Thing on fire. Again, the soft wall that NASCAR's got at most all these racetracks really held up, and it was a great thing. And we saw Brad get out of the car. That's great. And boy, I'll tell you what, that reminds me of some bad accidents we've seen in this sport in the past. But thank gosh the kid walked away. Terrible impact.
Gives you a sense of how fast these cars are going. Entering this corner right here, you see that car just hit the wall, get up in the air. These cars are going over 200 miles an hour getting into that corner.
Actually danced on the hood of the 42 cars, what kept it up in the air, and Keselowski's car was along that right rear tire, along the soft wall. That's safe for Barry, then came back down to rest there.
It's a scary crash, guys. I hate to say things like this, but it reminds me of a long time ago when Dale Sr. hit the wall at Daytona, a hard impact like that. And this is Dale Jr.'s car. But it looks like everybody's okay. Brad's shooken up pretty bad.
Brad Keselowski awake enough to be able to put the window net down and talk to the safety crews there. And we certainly are not going to speculate because they're being very ginger with his feet and legs because you see how the front of the car with that kind of impact at, as you said, Andy, almost 200 miles per hour. They have a safety cage in there, but obviously his foot was there on the pedals underneath in the cockpit. Let's watch and listen here to what happened just a moment ago.
Guys, let me remind you again, that was the fastest part of the racetrack going into turn 1, close to 200 miles per hour, head on into the wall. And the kid gets out of the car and walks away.
23-year-old Brad Keselowski coming off his career best finish just a week ago at Bristol, Tennessee, when he drove from the middle of the pack all the way to get a 7th place finish. So excited, so high on the opportunity here that he had driving for Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Jerry, I don't want to speculate, but he's definitely in pain. He can tell that something's hurting him. and he hit. It's hard to believe a man can walk away from impact like that. He looks like he's favored one of his legs. Maybe something, who knows.
When you got that kind of damage right there on that left front, it's right where the driver's legs and all that is, and you see the damage there. So could have just banged his legs against some of the pedals or the steering column, and they just want to make sure they take good care of him until they get him to the care.
Definitely, maybe a big bruise or something like that, because an impact like can definitely hurt your leg and not break your leg. Let's take a look at the speeds here getting into turn 1. 185. Close to 190, pushing 190 right before he starts getting out of the throttle. A lot of speed. He doesn't see the 42 car coming and gets him in the right rear quarter panel. And look how fast the car starts slowing down when it gets a wall.
Almost a 40-mile-an-hour drop right on the impact. These soft walls have really helped a lot as far as taking the energy out of these crashes, but they are a little fragile, so to speak. They have to go back and fix them when they hit them really hard. Sometimes it's made out of aluminum. It's like a tubing, and they got that styrofoam behind them. They can go back in there and just re-weld that stuff and replace some of that foam and make it just as good as new.
Brad Keselowski in the 88, making only his 19th start in the NASCAR Busch Series, his 6th of the year in the 88 car, the JR Motorsports, owned by Dale Earnhardt Jr. Information we are getting now from NASCAR is that Brad Keselowski is awake and alert, and he's going to be flown out for further evaluation, x-rays. But good news, Brad Keselowski, he was awake and alert in the car. We saw him put the window net down. The 42 car, A.J. Allmendinger, has been checked out and released at the Infield Care Center. For more on the grill, let's go down to our ESPN Dish Tech Center and Tim Brewer.
Thanks, Jerry. What we got here, folks, we got tape on the front of the grills to make the cars run fast, get a lot of downforce on them. But when you get little particles here, little particles there, and a big piece right in the center of it, that water temperature is going to go up amazingly. But still yet, like Rusty said, you stick the nose of this car right up behind another one, what's going to happen? All this stuff's going to fall off. You're going to kind of help yourself. A lot of times we cut the electric fan off behind the radiator. That helps a little bit, but still yet, just pulling the thing up behind the car, stopping airflow across the front of it, that helps our Chevrolet Colorway car tremendously.
Well, Tim, great explanation, exactly right. And when you can take and turn that radiator fan off so it quits sucking air through it, 16 cars spinning. Oh, into the wall, left rear quarter panel.
We missed you, thank goodness. Another one coming at you. You're good now, Matt. We missed you.
Greg Biffle, a 3-time winner here, getting the car out of shape and has some damage with the left rear of the car, bringing out caution number 3 here today.
Close call with Kyle Busch in the 5 car. Just missing Greg Biffle.
I'm just going to take it to the garage and put it in the truck.
You see the damage on the left rear. Greg's saying let's just put it on the truck instead of fixing it. These guys are not running for points here in the Busch Series.
Pretty good. The steering wheel's off a little bit.
Let's take a look at this replay. He's way high up on the racetrack, trying to pass Ryan Newman, gets up in that gray and just gets loose and spins the car. And guys, it looked like he had that right rear tire all the way up in the dirty portion of the racetrack. I mean, no, he didn't mean to do that, but that's what it appeared would happen. That car just got out from underneath him.
It looked like the groove just wasn't cleaned off all the way to the wall, so he got that right rear up in the sandy part. Right here, you see, just gets right up out of that groove. You see some of the sand start to fly out from under the car.
Absolutely right, Andy. You know, he gets in that dirty part of the track, the sandy part up there, and boy, when you see that stuff fly out from a right rear tire, you know there's no grip there, and he's going to lose it. And thank gosh nobody hit him, but he got the wall enough. And as you said earlier, he's not racing for the points. You know, he's frustrated now. Let's put the thing back away.
He's got to consider the big picture. He starts 10th tomorrow in the 500-mile NASCAR Nextel Cup event. He's still 15th in the points. He has an outside chance, albeit slim, of getting a shot to get in that chase to the championship. So he's got to look at the big picture and what's going to happen here tomorrow night. He's on pit road, and they'll go to work and changing tires, but pretty heavy damage. And
this is a Busch team. They want to keep racing. They're trying to fix the car and get back out there. Now, they want to keep competing here tonight. If they can get it fixed, they'll get him back out there.
Yeah, they'll try to keep the points up in this number 16 car, but what you got to do is keep the attitude of the driver up. Because now Greg Biffle's like, man, I don't want to go back out and just ride around. I got 55 laps to go. But if you want me to take one for the team, I'll do it. He's saying let's take it to the truck.
Welcome back to California Speedway. The 9 car just now spinning in the turn, bringing out caution for the 4th time out Casey Kahne, who won both Cup and Busch Series events here last fall. And, of course, won last week at Bristol, Tennessee, looping that Dodge around. Didn't seem to have any contact with the car, and he's now back underway.
Now, one's got to wonder, though, the damage.
Maybe just the wall. Actually, I don't think so, but he just spun probably all 4 tires. Tires are flat. I didn't hit anything, but my tires are flat.
That right front tire is flat.
You know, earlier he got in the wall a little bit of that right side, and you wonder if maybe he tore the car up a little bit and caused the handling to go away right there. Let's take a look at this replay. Let's see what it looks like, because it looks like Casey was just battling with a 22 car, Robbie Gordon, getting into turn 1. Casey took a real late entry, real high on the racetrack. And it really looks just what we saw with Greg Biffle. He got the right rear tire up in the gray and just lost the car. And that was an awful high line that Casey took. But, you know, he's one of the drivers that does it a lot. He likes working the top side of the track, but this time it bit him.
Yeah, good save, though. See him just sliding the car, just barely touching the wall right here, and he spins the thing around, doesn't hit anything.
From the onboard camera, he was battling door to door for lap after lap for 10th spot with a 22 car, Robbie Gordon. Now he's up high.
Coming inside. You're all right, you're all right.
Yeah, easy for him to say.
Well, let's take you up to speed and show you what's happening. Talk about what's happening with these lead drivers, starting out with our leader, Jeff Burton. Here's Mike Massaro.
Well, Doc, it certainly appears that Jeff Burton and the 29 team have thrown caution to the wind. They're going for this despite their calculations that say they're 3 laps short. They're out front right now. Pat Smith just coaching Jeff Burton along, telling him exactly where the 20 car and the 17 car are running so that he can compile his little mental notebook, perhaps for the finish. Meanwhile, Denny Hamlin, this is another team questioning whether or not they can go to the distance. They've got 2 different calculations. Their pre-race calculation says they're 1 lap short. However, their race calculation says they're 1 lap to the good.
Mike,
but we may have trouble on the racetrack.
Mike.
Hold the brake, hold the brake.
The 20 car of Denny Hamlin.
4 tires, guys.
Second place car, we talked about being way up on the racetrack up there where we saw Biffle have a problem and Casey Kahne have an issue.
Sorry, guys. That's what we pay you for. You're doing a great job.
Can't blame a man for pushing the thing hard. He was pushing it all the way up against the wall. He was catching the leaders.
I just started to see, Andy, I really like what the crew chief did just then. He said, hey, that's what we pay you for. He went for it and just lost at that time. Let's take a look at this replay. There he's getting in the turn really high up on the track again. Okay, there it goes. He gets into debris. He gets into stuff that the 9 car Casey Kahne did.
Same place that Greg Biffle spun the car, right there in that debris up against the wall.
And he just lost it this time. You know, we were just talking about that. He was really flirting with the top side of that track and was not giving himself any out. Not enough room if he does get loose to save it. Let's watch this one more time. Takes it right in his normal line. At Darlington, South Carolina, maybe that's what you want to do because that's the line you run, but not this high here in California. But
does a great job of not wrecking the car any worse. I mean, he does spin the car, but doesn't hit anything.
He's not out of this race right now, guys. I mean, we've got 24 laps to go, and this car is not tore up. He can put 4 tires on and go again, Garrett.
He did not lose a lap. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Roy. He did not lose a lap. The crew knows the tire. The car is not damaged. They're not going to quit on him. Denny Hamlin hustling the race car as best he could, right behind Jeff Burton running in 2nd spot, bringing out caution number 5 on the night.
He cleaned off just a little bit more of that racetrack up there against the wall, so they'll have a little more racetrack to work with.
Final laps, it'll be 20 to go here as Kyle Busch will lead him down. Pace car pulls away. Let's listen into the drivers and spotters as we go full throttle.
Green flag, green flag. 1 5. Clear low. Clear low. 3 laps. Outside. Inside. Go there. 29's outside. 3 wide. You're in the middle. In the middle. Clear high. Clear low. Clear all around. 2 car open behind you. Bottom of 3. Looking in. wide here. 3 wide middle. 3 wide middle. Two outside. Clear, clear.
Scrambling all over the racetrack. 3 wide, nearly contact with Jimmy Johnson, the 48 car up high. McMurray in the 26 making a move down on the bottom of the racetrack.
Denny Hamlin just diced himself to the field, passing 4 or 5 cars, and he is flying. I mean, he took a real nervy move on the bottom of the racetrack, got behind Robbie Gordon, worked Robbie up the racetrack, and now the 29 car, Jeff Burton.
That is his team car, the 21 car of Clint Boyer, in trouble. Here's the 17 car involved. Vickers involved. And our points leader, Carl Edwards. Oh, heavy contact. Stephen Light head on with the 17 car.
All right. How are you, bud? We're done.
Caution coming out for the 6th time tonight. At least a half a dozen cars involved, and now the 10 car Brian Vickers, who had led twice for 37 laps. There's our points leader, Carl Edwards.
Bang the hood down. We've got water pressure. Steering wheel's pretty straight. Let's work on it. Let's not go a lap down. Let's get back out there.
Well, if he could see what that car looks like, it's a little easier than, you know, not go a lap down. That thing is tore up. And take a look at the 17 car of Matt Kenseth. He is really tore up. And Stephen Light just nowhere to go, got caught up in the accident just after so much smoke out there, guys. And to try to drive through all that smoke and make it, it's really a tough thing. And that's what's happened to Stephen Light. He's had a good year all year long, winning that race in Kentucky. Let's take a look at this replay, guys.
4 wide right here. So everybody just looking for some racing room, and Matt Kenseth just gets a bump from behind.
When Brian Vickers had a fast car throughout the night, he gets taken out in our points leader.
There's nowhere for these guys to go, and then Stephen Light comes in there in the 90 car, makes contact with Matt Kenseth.
Boy, Andy, when you're behind there as a driver and you're seeing all that smoke and debris and stuff flying, I mean, you take a calculated guess. Should I go high? Should I go low? And sometimes, man, you just miss it. And right now, with so much debris, these guys can't see where they're going. And that happened. 4 wide.
That's Kelly Byers, the 47 car, as the 17 came across. That was the initial contact, and then the 17 collects the 60 and the 10.
The guys, it looked like Matt Kenseth really thought he was clear, and he just wasn't clear. And come across the hood of Kelly Byers, and they were swapping back and forth so fast, and he just didn't clear them.
Watch from Jamie McMurray's onboard camera here in the 26 cars.
Let's take a look at Kenseth. There he is. He comes over. See, just barely clips him, but just didn't have enough room, and that was a pretty nervy move. Dave, you got more?
Yeah, Rusty, he talked to his crew right after that, and he confessed, hey, my bad, Bob. And he was talking to Bob Jeffrey, his spotter, about that move. He said, I thought the 47, he implied that the 47 might have given a little bit more, but Matt took responsibility for that because he had not been cleared by his spotter.
Yeah, I mean, that's good that Matt did that, because it's clear that, you know, Kelly Byers didn't do anything wrong whatsoever. In fact, Matt had more speed going and just miscalculated. These guys were going for it. They were 4 wide. Pandemonium breaking loose on the back straightaway, and the big one happened. Looks like it took out about 4 cars here.
There's 20 laps to go. These guys are trying to get in position for a good finish.
Carl Edwards was just sailing by on the high side, just minding his own business, and suddenly with the contact, he ends up getting the 17 car in his left front fender. And of course, the 10 car right behind him ends up barreling into the back of this 60 car. So damage on the front and the rear, and that's what happened with the front end of Matt Kenseth's car. After the contact, there is the Toyota that was so strong here in the first 75 laps, leading some 37 circuits at California for Brian Vickers.
You know, this Owners Championship point fight, Jerry, is starting to get messed up again now. The 29's having a great day of Jeff Burton, and the 60 car of Carl Edwards, he's falling back. And these owners, Roush and Richard Childress, they're going for it. They want this title. And right now, Edwards is having some terrible luck. Just can't seem to get on track, and we haven't seen that all year long.
Carl Edwards, we talk about the tale of 2 seasons. He won 4 times in the first 15 events, but he has really struggled. Look at his last 4 finishes, 3 out of the top 25, and then trying to get a top 10 finish at Bristol, Tennessee. Now.